Welcome back to Old Fashioned Ways. I am redoing round 3 of the Texas Blind. And we are calling this the best Texas whiskey, period, right? What happened was I filmed this one. As I went to go edit, I realized there was no sound. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm checking. And there looks like there's sound quality right now. So we'll see. We'll see if this one is the right one. So my wife was gracious enough to re-pour round 3 for me. I'm gonna mix them up a little bit, but I don't know what's what anyways. I mean, she poured them. I have no idea. I'm kind of curious how this will come out and see how it goes. I will do as I normally do. What is this? Left to right, because I keep messing that up, and then right to left. Now I'm actually doing this with a few buddies of mine. One is your drinking buddy. He's the one that came up with the idea, put this all together. I'm also going with Whiskey Shaman and the Bourbon Jerk. Now, when we release these, you guys will know what we're drinking. We are still blind to this. We have not shared each other's, what we sent off to each other. So each of us sent 4 random Texas whiskeys to each other. And we don't know what they sent me. I don't know what I know what I sent them, but they don't know. And the crazy thing is, we didn't compare, so we don't know if there can be overlapping. So there can actually be the same thing in some of these blinds, and we just don't know that. So we'll see what my palate thinks today, and let's go ahead and get started. I just wanted to recheck, ensure my audio was working, so it is. Now, time to get to the fun part. Let's start looking at these bad boys, tasting these bad boys, and seeing what they look like. Ooh, nice amber. I'm gonna have this one. Should have washed my glasses a little bit better, a little bit stained, but ooh, almost spilled that one. Nice, tight legs. Barely starting to form, but they're pretty tight. Ooh. Smells a little bit funky and weeded on the nose. Definitely, this kind of smells like a Texas one. Kind of reminds me of, not Garrison Brothers, what is it called? Balcones. I can think of the name Balcones. It kind of smells like a Balcones. It's going for that first sip. Wow, hits my palate right off the bat. Does taste like a little bit of a malted, so it's probably one of the malted ones, which Balcones tends to have, the one that I've tasted. You know, there's a lot of Texas whiskeys I haven't tried, but Balcones seems to hit that. So this first one here, a little bit strong. Kind of actually a little bit of ryeness, but a multi, so maybe a multi rye. I'm gonna say about 112 to 115 proof, somewhere in there. But it's my first drink, so sometimes when you do that first drink, it kind of hits you hot, you know. All right, let's go for the next one. It looks a little bit darker, not too much, but a little bit more amber in this one. Representing my friend Baker drinks, even though they're not in this. Ooh, that's interesting. It is not sticking to the glass very well. Those legs run a little bit quickly. This one smells like not my favorite on the nose right now. This smells a little medicinal, like medicine, right? It's pretty, it's like a darker smell because my nose is adapting. I'm getting a little bit of orange in there, a little bit of funk to that too. Let me go in for that taste. Yeah, very similar to the first taste. A little bit of that maltiness kind of goes in and comes out kind of quickly. Once again, not my favorite type, but there's some flavor there. I think the first one had more flavor than that, so when I do these, I will probably compare those two together. Next, SLB on the mug, about the same color as the last one, a little bit darker than the first one, a little bit better on the legs. They're a little bit tighter, but they are kind of runny. Now that to me tastes like a kind of a Garrison Brothers Texas whiskey, like a Garrison kind of strong flavor, dark, kind of like a dark chocolate with some date in there. So I don't know what it is, but to me it reminds me a little bit of Garrison, so I'm thinking that's a Garrison's pick. And I do like a lot of Garrison stuff. I like a lot of their single barrels better. Balmorea is one of their most popular, but that's not one of my favorites. Yeah, it's starting to get a little tacky in my mouth, but I'm gonna go through these individually again, rinsing off between and going from there. So yeah, this one actually seems a little bit darker than the other ones. Just a tad bit, not too much, but there's a tad of dark, a little bit of darkness to it. This one's also sticking to the glass pretty well. Nice tight legs. Once again, should have washed these better, but wow. That one's a lot hotter, it's a little bit spicier. Got a little bit too much of this lingering over because I can taste this still in there. So I'm not gonna give too many notes on this. I'm gonna, rinse off and go through this in reverse. So going through this, I find this pretty interesting. What I find interesting about it is these two, as I go back and taste them, hit my palate very similar. Almost to the point that I think my wife might have made a mistake and poured the same thing twice. Because that taste the same to me when I start tasting them side by side, rinse my palate off and all that. Now, then I have these two, and I like both of these a lot better. Good flavor to them, but I do like them a lot. One just beat out the other just by a little bit. So let's go with these two are tied, so let's just look at them. So these are third and fourth, right? So A and C. So let me see. Put them tied for fourth. And then my winner is D, and second place is B. Tasting all that, going through it, I'm a little concerned about these two. That could have happened, not 100% sure, but my palate's telling me yes. That's what it's telling me tonight. I want to think this is probably Garrison Brothers, and I do like this pour. It's a good pour. And then here, I don't know what that is, but it has a little chocolate note to it. I just like the way it's kind of sticking to the tongue a little bit better, a little bit of a chocolate note. Not as much of that Texas funk as you get with Garrison Brothers, which I do like a lot of Garrison Brothers Texas funk. But tonight, it's just hitting my palate just a little bit better. So this is the one that's going to be moving on for me. All right, guys. Thank you again for joining me on another journey down my Texas whiskey rabbit hole. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to be doing a live together once we get all these done. So we'll release rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to be doing that live all together. So let's see what happens. And as soon as we find out when that live's going to be, we'll let you know. To all my buddies out there, cheers.